Imagine a god so feared that entire civilizations tried to erase its name. Not defeated, not forgotten, erased. Across the ancient world, certain deities were considered too dangerous, too unpredictable, or too fundamentally disruptive to be allowed to survive in memory. Today, we are pulling those names back into the light. Welcome to Pantheon. If you enjoy mythology and the stories that shape our world, make sure you subscribe and join us for more. Now let's begin. Civilizations normally cling to their gods. They honor them, build temples to them, and treat them as guardians of identity and survival. So when a culture deliberately buries a deity, something serious must have happened. A forbidden god usually represents one of three forces: chaos, taboo, or a truth the society did not want to face. When the ancient world tried to get rid of a god, what they were actually doing was trying to erase the problem that God represented. It wasn't just about mythology. It was about controlling reality itself by controlling the stories they told. First, we go to Mesopotamia. Buried deep in their mythology is a deity scholars sometimes call the Nameless One. The surviving myths describe a profoundly destructive being, one who caused madness in kings and brought nightmares to the entire population. Ancient scribes reportedly removed its name from clay tablets, replacing it with empty space. That alone is remarkable. These were cultures obsessed with record-keeping. To intentionally erase something from stone means they feared that even the act of writing the name might attract its attention. The reason this god was suppressed was simple. It stood for uncontrollable disorder. And for these early civilizations, the greatest fear was that the fragile order they had built could collapse overnight. This god wasn't an external enemy. It was the embodiment of internal collapse, a force that could unravel society from within. Next, we head to Mesoamerica. Many cultures across that region told stories of a cosmic devourer, a monstrous entity that tried to swallow the sun and bring about the end of the world. This being represented the total collapse of life, time, and the natural order. So why erase it? Because the myth terrified rulers. If a creature existed that could overpower the sun, the very source of life, and a symbol of divine power, then it could undermine all political authority. A ruler who claimed divine support could not have a myth telling people that even the heavens can be eaten. So the name faded, not naturally, but intentionally. The devourer became something whispered about in shadows instead of spoken of in public. A dark presence hanging over solar ceremonies, always there but never acknowledged. Its silence was a political necessity. Now, let's journey to ancient Greece. We know the famous gods of Olympus: Zeus, Hera, Apollo, but while some goddesses were honored, others were deliberately minimized. One of the most unsettling was a figure associated with the breakdown of family bonds. Societies built on inheritance, property, and lineage. A deity representing betrayal inside the home was simply unacceptable. The core of Greek social structure was the oikos, the household. A god that threatened this foundation was more terrifying than any monster. So instead of worship or festivals, she was quietly removed from mainstream mythology. Her story survived only in scraps, fragments found in obscure texts. This tells us that the Greeks could tolerate gods of war, chaos, and the underworld, but they could not tolerate gods who disrupted the fundamental basis of their daily lives. From there, we arrive in ancient Egypt. Egyptian mythology is full of powerful, complex gods, but one figure was always treated differently. This was a great serpent, often associated with divine rebellion and cosmic sabotage. It was the ultimate force of chaos, constantly threatening to undo creation. Unlike other gods, the scribes would depict it, but they would not praise it. They would show it being defeated. But they carefully avoided giving it the same permanence granted to other divine beings. The message was clear. This being existed. It threatened everything. But speaking its name, writing it down with reverence, was thought to give it power. Even in ritual texts, the serpent was often described indirectly. This reluctance shows how mythology can reflect deep psychological fear. A culture can accept storms, plagues, or war as part of the divine plan. But a threat from within the divine system itself, a god that rebels against the other gods, was too destabilizing to fully acknowledge. So why go to all the trouble of erasing or muting a deity? Because mythology is not just storytelling. It is a form of social engineering. When a god symbolized something the society feared, refused to confront, or couldn't control, the easiest solution was to silence it. You remove its festivals, hide its symbols, and pretend it never existed. This tactic also reveals something incredibly important about human nature. The more violently a culture tries to suppress a god, the more psychologically powerful that god probably was. A forbidden god is a mirror of a society's deepest collective fears. It's a map of their anxieties, a record of the monsters they believed were lurking just beneath the surface of their orderly world. Ironically, the very gods ancient societies tried to erase are the ones modern people find the most fascinating. What is forbidden becomes intriguing. What is erased becomes a mystery we are desperate to solve. When we resurrect these myths today, we aren't giving power back to old gods. We're reclaiming forgotten stories and, more importantly, understanding why our ancestors were so afraid of them. In doing so, we learn something profound about ourselves. Societies bury what they fear. They silence what they cannot solve. And mythology is the permanent record of those fears, written across time for us to find. If you enjoyed uncovering the gods humanity tried to erase, make sure you subscribe, like, and comment with which forgotten myth we should cover next. And stay tuned for our next video. Things are about to get even stranger.
Thanks for watching.